Hey everybody, at BV Matson here. Time to get back into some motorcycles. I've had this 1974 CL125s kind of just parked in the garage, awaiting final torques, tune-up, all that good stuff. This one turned out really good. It's been sitting for a while. A lot of dust. Time to clean this thing up.
All right, let's take a look at what we started with. Here is the video, or clips of the video, from when we first rolled this into the Keep On Wrenching garage. It was pretty crusty, a lot of incorrect parts, had to do a ton of searching to find replacement parts that were period right. There's some new old stock that I ended up getting for this, but there was a lot of promise underneath all the dust. So a lot of polishing, a lot of time. This was a frame-up restoration. We did literally everything on this bike. Those rims took some work, not gonna lie. We actually had to replace the entire front wheel because it was all mucked up, had some bent spokes, etc. But this one's been in works for a long time, and I'm super excited to finally have this one ready and going back on the road. A 1974 CL125s. How cool is that?
To get started, I'm just going to go to my Meguiar's Quick Wax, and then I'll do some leather treatment on the seat, and I've got a ton of microfiber towels to help me along there.
It feels really good to get back at the 74 CL125s. This was really the main restoration project on the channel over a year ago. It's probably been about a year and a half. When the Super Hawk came in to the shop, I really just turned all my attention to that Super Hawk. So time to finish this thing up. Everything's been restored. Everything's pretty much brand new on it. I just literally got it out of the basement shop into the garage and had to do final torque, fill it with gas, get the oil going, and do all those things. So happy to finally be crossing the finish line.
Well, I'd say that cleaned up pretty darn good, man. I really love this paint job on this bike. Was really thorough with trying to find all the right parts for this thing. And it actually cleans up pretty darn nice once you get the dust off of it. Even the wheels look pretty good. Look at that. Looking pretty good. Hop on over here to the front side. That front wheel is damn near perfect. I mean, look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Aluminum's nice and clean. All the way up on the fender here. One ding in that fender. I never did get that out. I just call that a character mark. But look at that nice reflection. All the way up. This 74 CL125s has a whopping 3,636 miles on the clock. It'd be sweet to start getting it some more. If you guys remember on the channel, for those of you who've been around a while, this is that Retro Moto tank. I think this is one of my better paint jobs, to be quite honest. That came out beautiful. Yeah, that Retro Moto tank. The original was completely roached, not good. Finding these side covers was a trip too, but we got those cleaned up. Look at that nice polish on that. Went through everything on this thing. Everything. Basically a brand new bike at this point. Even the motor cleaned up pretty good. Look at those side covers. Love it. Now, big question. Can we get it running? Yeah, all in all, this is one clean looking motorcycle here. Even that seat looks really good. It's not dry cracked or anything at all. It actually cleans up really nice, and that is the original seat, believe it or not. Did fresh new wiring on this as well, so everything is nice and tidy on this. Again, this is basically a brand new bike. New tires, new brake shoes, new cables, new headlight. Had to procure a new headlight bucket for it, so that's brand new. That is an original part. That was a new old stock that I found for that. What else did we do? Put a new point in it, new chain, everything. New shocks, we did that. New tank, new hoses, cleaned the carburetor out. I mean, we really did pretty much everything you could do on this. A new shifter, I guess we did one of those too, but just tons and tons and tons of polishing. These wheels, I'm just kind of blown away by how nice these wheels came out. Damn. Before we get to getting it running, I still do need to do final torque specifications on this. So went ahead and printed off a list of all the different things and, you know, make sure I got everything nice and tidy on this. So on to torque specs. When you walk away from a project like this, it's kind of hard to remember like where you left off, what you did, what you didn't do. All kinds of surprises. A lot of the stuff was just put together kind of finger tight on the bolts. Just for reference, pretty much everything's at 29, all right? So on the torque wrench, I got myself at foot-pounds, 29 foot-pounds on my torque wrench. That is for the swing arm and front and rear axle, 29 foot-pounds. And here's the magic sound. That's it, right there. All right, we're going to 50 on the steering stem nut. Had to dive into my standard sockets to find one big enough, but a 1 1/8 fit right on that bad boy. Got her to 50. All your engine mounting bolts are gonna be at 18 foot-pounds. One thing I don't even remember is whether or not I put oil in these forks. It's been so long since I worked on this bike. So I'm gonna back this out just a little bit and see if we get a little dribble. Try and be quick. I think I did. I'm not sure though. Any bets? Don't want it to be a gusher. Don't want a gusher here. I don't think I did. I'm actually really glad I checked that. Totally forgot, man. Just doing all these double checks before we get rolling. And we're shooting for 130 milliliters in each fork. Look at me getting all fancy with a funnel. Might as well check the tire pressure. We're going for 28 PSI on the back. 26 PSI on the front. All right, the manual is saying 1.5 out on the air fuel mix screw. So I am bottomed out right there. So I'm gonna come out half, 1, 1.5. That should be good. I totally did not intend on this to happen, but I kicked it over and it started. I literally kicked it over one time. Holy crap. Oh, got a little fuel leak, gotta deal with. So for some reason, leaking like crazy out of the float bowl. I thought maybe it was the overflow, but I could see it just dripping down out of the side of this. So I'm gonna need to go, I think, God, the gasket looks fine. But I'm gonna go dig around and see if I got another one. And I'll probably clean up this surface just a little bit more. Actually managed to find a new gasket. I'm gonna go the extra mile. I'm gonna do a little Permatex on that there, and then I'm gonna let this set up a little bit, and then I'm gonna go ahead and hit the top of this with Permatex, and then we'll go ahead and reinstall that bowl. All right, easy enough. Installed that float bowl, got the Permatex. I'm gonna let that set up for a little while, and we'll give her another go. And while we're waiting on that Permatex to set up, might as well go ahead and lube our chain. Haven't done that yet, so get in here and get this thing coated up. Putting down a little piece of cardboard for this job is never a bad idea. Can get a little messy. One thing I almost forgot is I've got to go around and put in all my lockers, all my little locker pins. So I'm gonna go around and do that. There's gonna be a whole slew of them. All right, I think we're ready to give her a whirl. Let's see what happens. Go ahead, turn on the gas, and let's see if it pours again. Not seeing a leak. Wait. Yep, got a leak yet. Damn it. Let's see if we can see what's going on here. Still got a leak, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn my petcock on. And there it's oozing. You can see it oozing. That whole gasket, look at that whole thing just dripping. It's not coming from my overflow. What in the world? Gas off. Well, I went and grabbed the float bowl off the CB100 because it's basically the same thing. Unfortunately, discovered a problem on the CB100. The overflow tube is broken on this. So I gotta figure this out. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually pull the carb off and I am gonna check my float height because gas really shouldn't be getting that high, you know, to be hitting that seal, or at least I don't think it should be. So I'm gonna check this float height. All right, got the carburetor out. I'm gonna check the float level, make sure I'm at 24 millimeters. That's what the book says, 24. All right, got it locked in, caliper locked in at 24 millimeters. All right, measured it out. It's about 26, so about 2 millimeters off. So I'm gonna go ahead and bend that tab out just a little bit to get to that 24 mark. I may have just found one of my problems here. That gasket's really tight in between this part and this part. I'm wondering if I didn't get that seated in there. I had to like really push it down there with my fingernail. So I'm gonna be really tedious, really careful as I put this gasket back in and we give it a whirl. Instead of going through all that, putting it all back together, I just tested it, hooked it up to the petcock. And I don't know if it was the float adjustment or messing with that gasket a little bit better, but wait. I think that was from my overflow when I tipped it like that. I think that's what it was. Yeah, because when I tipped it, yeah, it's coming out of the overflow there. So I think we're good. All right, we got that all put back together. Let's turn the petcock. Let's see what happens. Still leaking. All right, I have no clue why that carburetor was leaking. So I went and grabbed the carburetor off of the CB100. They're the same carb. So I went and grabbed that, found all the working parts, and we'll throw that together and we're about to give it a try. I do have the petcock on right now and I'm not seeing any leaks. So I don't know, let's see what happens. Let's try to fire this thing up. So what it actually ended up being is that here's the original carburetor. It looks to me like it's a little bit bent, but what was happening is that this wasn't fully engaging on this. So there was just a little gap within it. That's why I swapped out to the other carburetor. We'll see, this is probably gonna be fine. It fits good, but man, on that other one, that other cover, it all went together pretty nice, but it was like just popped up. So what I did is I actually got a little aggressive with it. I went to my grinder and I ground that down just a little bit, just to make sure that that fit. I just think it was like torqued or oblong or something, not sure, but it wasn't seating because this cover just wasn't fitting right. Swapped out the carb, ended up using the other float bowl. All good. Super lucky to have the CB100 hanging out here, same carb. Was able to steal that carburetor off of that. Don't forget, we got the CB160 hanging out here. We also got that Dream hanging out right there. That cock is on. We're gonna go key on. Got neutral light. Oops, let's kick her over. All right, she lives. Actually running pretty steady right now. Nice and warmed up. Might be time for a little photo shoot. Clipping along pretty nice. It's a beautiful bike. Gosh darn. Might need to take it around the block. Not bad. Not bad for a first shakedown. And just like that, it's photo shoot time. Considering this one done, the 1974 CL125s. Man, it's been sitting there for a while. We got distracted with other projects. We had the Super Hawk roll in. I bought the Scram. And then I got the Jeep. But man, this thing turned out great. I'm actually really in like with this motorcycle. It's small. It's not that fast, but it don't matter. It is a beauty. Everything cleaned up, one piece at a time. This is basically a brand new vintage motorcycle. All right, everybody, I think that's a wrap on the 1974 CL125s. Super unique vintage motorcycle. Glad I dove in today to get her done. Again, this is clean. It's all brand new. Doesn't really get any better than this. Vintage bike, basically brand spanking new. A little bit of a journey today to get there, chasing down a carburetor leak, but we found it and we fixed it. And I think I'm just a few adjustments away. I've got a real heavy clutch. I got a really heavy clutch. I need to adjust that a little bit. Brakes are perfect. Everything feels great there. So I'm actually feeling really good about this sweet little scrambler bike. I hope you all enjoyed the video, getting back into the motorcycles just a little bit. Here it is. It's been waiting for a long time to finally get finished. Hey, I actually even put 2 miles on it today. How about that? It's come a long ways. Rear Tro Moto tank, custom stripe job, original seat, all the covers, everything polished up. Really, really nice. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe. Also, if you want yourself one of those free Keep On Wrenching stickers, head on over to keeponwrenching.com. We'll see you in the next video or live stream.